Hi, Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising sign. Welcome to June of 2025's astrology forecast for your sign. Wow, what a month, because you're going to have such a sea change of 4 planets changing signs. Get ready for some sparks of romance to light up, maybe even some extra creative energies and more enjoyment of life. Get ready for a nice sea change or shift in how you feel about yourself, maybe finding yourself to be more healthy, more beautiful, more likable, more charismatic than you normally are. And you can apply that charisma towards getting some of your playful desires met. All said and done with 4 planets changing signs, you benefit greatly. We have something good for each sign, and yours is particularly luscious for that romantic, creative impulse. But health-wise, things should be going extremely well for you. And you may even find yourself having some dramatic turning points in your career. So much to talk about. I really don't know where to start. Other than 4 planets changing signs, and you're going to love it. We're going to talk about the chronology of the month ahead. We're going to start, the beginning and end at the end. We have 2 lunations we'll cover as well in Sagittarius and in Cancer. So let's get started. Before we begin, welcome to my channel. If you are new, my name is Lori Lothian. And this is Western Tropical Astrology, not sidereal. We're using a lot of the fixed stars and minor asteroids in most of my content, but in this video we won't. But if you like that kind of stuff, come join my channel, like, subscribe, and see what I have to offer in my all signs content for every single video I put out every month, which is like at least 20 videos. We're also going to talk about the idea of what Lori's up to, just very briefly, if you don't mind. I just want you to know, because how else are you going to find out about it? I'm teaching my Sky Reader class again, 6th time now. Teach it once a year. This is my 6th year teaching it. Be your own astrologer, time your best life. This is going to start in July, goes to August for 6 weeks. And we're going to learn together how to do the astrology enough to time your life. So you'll learn the basics of your chart and some divine timing tools. And we'll talk about the course curriculum more if you go to the description box below and read about the course. And I always add new content every time. And there's Q&As and more stuff added. Finally, my 2025 All Signs bundle is now half price for $33. That's 12 videos, 2 hours each, 12 different guidebooks for each sign. You can share with friends and family, listen for a sun, moon, and rising. Get it in the half price sale down below in the description box. Now, hey, I forgot to mention that the way to listen today is your sun sign represents career matters, your moon sign represents your home, and your rising sign is your game playing character in the simulation. It's your avatar in the game, and that's going to give you more circumstantial evidence of changes in your life. You might find that your rising sign is more circumstantially accurate and that secondarily sun and moon, but I find that all 3 are useful. I'm going to show you the sky as we spin the wheel in our next half hour together. And so get ready and buckle up, take some notes if you need to, and let's get started. We begin the month of June. Oh, so many things happening. With Venus co-joined with Chiron. Chiron and Venus together to heal the chironic wound around addiction, self-undoing, self-sabotage, expenditures and expenses that have been beleaguering and belaboring you since 2019. And all kinds of subconscious past life stuff and childhood wounds can also be healed during this little bit of June 1st, 2nd, 3rd type of time frame when Venus and Chiron become united. Now, Chiron has been here since 2019, so there's been many times that she's crossed over here to deliver some healing. But hey, Chiron's getting ready in 27 to leave this house of self-undoing and self-sabotage expenses and more hospitals, and sometimes it incites indebtedness, and you're getting ready to get that story completely done anyway. So Venus is lending a hand. Look for something positive, perhaps to do with a relief on expenses or a shift around addictions. Now, as we move into the next story, Venus and Jupiter are really in an incredibly powerful collaboration. It's very positive. It brings luck. It's a sextile. Sextiles are the nature of Venus. So Venus is talking favorably with Jupiter in a money, earnings, and financial resources house. Tell me how it's been for the last year. Jupiter's been here since last May and basically is completing this journey by June 10th. And that year is sometimes like financial prosperity finds you, lucky breaks with jobs, money, work, financial increase. However, and also Hail Mary pass that saves you from going homeless, usually, not always. He is in detriment. So it's good, but not great. Well, he's trying to give you a last good thing before he leaves here in June. And he's having a conversation with Venus. Now, backroom deals and negotiations, things happening behind the scenes that benefit you financially may come maybe out of the woodwork, even a little bit, even surprising you, blindsiding you in a good way because of the the semi-sextile to Uranus. So to me, it could be like, when all is lost, it's darkest before the dawn, something in the financial sphere suddenly goes, okay, we got a solution. Or here's the final answer. And so it does look good on your money, but from weird places that you're not thinking of, and maybe hospitals, that sounds crazy, but Saturn is the elder in the house of the hospitals. Chiron is, the medical stuff. Venus is the money. So you might get some kind of bouquet tossed from, a relative who's ailing or ill in the hospital or getting ready to pass or something like that. Jupiter does rule your house of inheritance monies. That could be a last minute Hail Mary pass around some money coming to you as well around, June the 3rd through to about June the 7th. Now, it's June the 6th. And then on June the 6th, Venus let me stop for a second. Mercury is also sextiling. Mercury, the guy who is marketing and selling, messaging and communicating and deal making. So fortunate deal making in the second house of money and earnings. Mercury is also sextiling Mars. Financial deal making regarding land, property, real estate, mortgages, banking, loans, legal agreements and contracts in the works. Kind of happening here. You could sell a home, get a great offer on a home, make an offer to buy a home and have a good result, sell a property, cut away from a property. There's this kind of, but marketing and positive Jupiterian influence over deal making and financial matters connected to the home. Now, possibly because Venus is sort of playing a role here with Jupiter as well. And that sextile, a rental property opportunity for negotiation as a landlord or a leasee may emerge as well. All said and done, it looks like some likely real estate related, property related positive developments as well happening in that first week of June. Now, as we move away from that time frame and we look at what happens next, you're going to notice something that Venus is going to get ready to leave behind the Aries story of the last couple of months and move in to Taurus. This is so good for you because you are Taurus rising. Your physical appearance, your body, your health, your mindset, how you feel about being you will be on a super glow up. Taurus sun, your career gets a glow up. And Taurus moon, your home life gets a glow up. Now, career is kind of a vague term because the sun represents one's purpose as well. So purpose career can be, getting an increase of goodness coming through Venus's transit through Taurus. And as she's moving through this part of the sky, she makes you feel good about your life, about you, more healthy, more forgiving of yourself, more likable to other people, more congenial, more charming. You may change your wardrobe, your hair, especially the rising. You might just increase your sense of all is well with me in the world. If you've been going through difficulties as you transited your 12th house in the last 2 months, especially regarding addiction, self-undoing, now you have a breath of fresh air. What a relief. I feel much better now that it's June the 6th. June the 6th until July the 4th. June the 6th till July the 4th, Venus is giving you a great deal of love and support for your Taurus sun, career, Taurus moon, home life matters, and Taurus rising, anything about your life. No complaints there, right? And as Venus is in this part of the sky and she ingresses, which means moves into, this part of the sky, you'll also notice that Mercury is aiming for Jupiter. And this is a very important rendezvous because they're going to be perfectly conjunct in a way that you won't see for another 12 years. And it means that on the 7th and 8th of June, you're going to have some good news, some lucky breaks around marketing, selling, buying, purchasing, negotiating, and deal making on matters financial. I can't tell you what the luck is. I don't know, but look forward to that 5 on the 7th and 8th of June. It does trine the work and career house. It could be lucky breaks around job applications, job acceptances, but it's also talking to Venus, or it was anyway, and that has to do with debts. So relief on debts and credits and creditors, things like that are happening on June the 7th and the 8th. On June the 9th, we'll notice that Mercury really starts to beat into another story as well. Well, we're going to say a little simpler earlier on June the 9th. Yeah, there goes Mercury, second planet to change signs. Mercury is in your third house. This is where you can be marketing and selling and writing and communicating in the online sphere, setting up a website, promoting something, speaking on podcasts, getting busy with your social media. But Mercury is a very social creature, and this is the house of the local neighborhood as well. It's a virtual neighborhood, and you might be very sociable and wanting to go to bars and restaurants and have fun and do things and be more active in your social local sphere thanks to Mercury. Mercury doesn't leave this part of your chart, the Cancer zone, until the brain come back online, as I always joke, June 26th. So June 9th to 26th would be very social, but it's really good for doing things online, marketing, selling, promoting, teaching, writing, and the online sphere is very activated here for you. Now, as Mercury goes into this part of the sky, he squares Saturn. Saturn says, let's be realistic, let's be perseverant, let's look at a long-term strategy, right? Long-term strategy that serves your long game storyline. So if you're going to start writing a book, Saturn says, let's plot the actual opportunities to write and set it on the calendar. If you want to launch a course or sell a product or promote something or teach something or learn something, Saturn is really almost like saying, well, when are you going to do it? How are you going to do it? Let's look at the schedule. Let's look at the realistic details. Let's be realistic about the whole thing. When Jupiter enters in, boom. I should also mention that Mercury could be wanting you to take a trip or to travel, and Saturn is like delaying the travel. So there could be delayed travel or changes of travel plans too around June the 9th. And Jupiter enters on June the 10th. And now there's a kind of buoyancy, a lightness of being. Maybe the trip's going to work out, or the reschedule is even better. Maybe the class you want to take, you get accepted into after all, no delays. Maybe the thing you want to teach is going to take off. You can teach, you can learn when Jupiter's here. How long will Jupiter be in your third house of skills-based learning and teaching? A year. Traveling? A year. Social media beasting? A year. Connecting to aunts, uncles, neighbors, and nieces and nephews and siblings? A year. This could bless a sibling one younger than you, should you have a sibling one younger. This is also just a juicy placement because this is the fruit of a Taurus. The fruits of the third sign from any sign is the fruits of the sign. And so the fruiting is here of something that you really want to accomplish with great luck, ease, and prosperity. So I love this Jupiter placement. He does square Saturn and Neptune. So does, Mercury. So again, is it realistic? Is it fantastical? Can you see what's true and real? Can you figure out ways to do the third house stuff? Travel, short distance, learning, teaching, writing, communicating, marketing, selling, online, all of that stuff. Can you do that in a way that has a backbone, a solid structure with a long game in mind, especially with Saturn in the 12th house? That's the house of digital income and borderless revenue for people who are online people who make money from around the world. If you want that lifestyle, this is a yes. If you want to be a digital nomad, this is a double down yes. If you want to go on pilgrimages, Saturn says, let's plan the trip. And I don't just mean pilgrimages, go off to the Camino or something. There's a lot of that going on here as well. And Jupiter said, guru, guide, wisdom through travel, truth, knowledge, and wisdom through travel in the next year. And the inklings and the beginnings of that are here around June the 10th. All right. On June the 9th as well, and 10th, Venus is in a square to Pluto, and your career house is Pluto. Venus in the house of you. Transformative, regenerative, Phoenix rising on your reputation, social standing, on your ability to secure a career opportunity that brings you power or wealth. Venus will not let you have any old career opportunity, but it's going to be intense. The love of power, the power of love, but the love of wealth, and wealth can come to you with this because it is a Pluto wealth and riches and Venus money energy, but there is tension in the sky. So there's kind of a coming up against a crucible here where Venus wants to get you the wealth through your reputation and career storylines to you June 9th and 10th, but you might have to really go through some cathartic purging of something in order for this to be available to you. It could be financial wellness through an ending, through a death or a completion of something in a career path as well. Sometimes we can only achieve more when we let go of what we're clinging to. And there may be a letting go as well, of death of an old career path, the death of ambition, a death of something you thought you wanted to achieve in order for more fruitfulness to arise. On June the 11th, On June the 11th, there is a full Sagittarius moon at 20 degrees. 20 degrees of Sagittarius is your fourth house, and your fourth house is your house of your property, your home, land, real estate. Mars has been here for 2 months, mid-April to June 17th, cutting and severing. Oh, sorry. That's where Mars is. Sorry. The full moon is in your eighth house of mortgages, banks, loans, lending, leveraging money, borrowing money, owing money, business partner monies. Okay, got it. But it's flowing to Mars in the fourth house of land, home, property, and real estate. And there's no way I can separate those two out and add Chiron and creates a beautiful energy in the sky called a fire trine. Oh, and the fire trine is initiative, daring, and boldness. The moon, Mars, Chiron hook up in a hot triangle of fire. First of all, it can really relieve you of some kind of distress and woundedness around your own messes you've made for your own self in life. They could be about addictions and breaking free from family patterns in a really beautiful lunation. It could be about overspending, mismanaging money, resources financially, loans and mortgages and payments and debts, and suddenly breaking free and through all of this stuff. There is a possibility of inheritance from an elder coming through this chart, family wealth coming to you somehow up the line, not just on the moon itself, because the moon is happening on the 11th, but it will show you its possibilities within the 2 weeks that follow, and it will fulfill and fruit itself all the way within 6 months that follows this full moon. Now, seeds were planted for this full moon. I hope I said full, getting to the end of my videos. Back in the fall, in November, when we had a new moon. So you planted the seeds for this fulfillment of fruition. Again, I love it for getting rid of addictions and self-undoing. I love it for making major changes to do with home, property, real estate, money, loans, spousal support, inheritances, fulfillment, and fruition, but in a positive way because of the fire trine, really healing something that's really been upsetting, bothering your sense of wellness in the world, whether it's an addiction or a self-undoing or a self-sabotaging way of being that is coming to an end. And you might have been feeling these to be problems in your life since 2019. And this moon can help clear the karmic slate on a lot of that and heal the family of origin wounds and ancestral wounds and even past life wounds. We have a lot of moksha or spiritual liberation in this moon. Now, one thing I would say is that all month long, but you start to feel it more acutely around, well, it's all in play all month long. Let's just put it that way. I mean, Saturn and Neptune hanging out together all month in your 12th house, not quite conjunct, but close enough. Next year they will be. It's like you're really looking at what's realistic for your life when it comes to making gains in your life for things you do alone, solitude, pilgrimages, time out corners for yourself, where you can have a new vision for your life. And so you might begin to notice that the time you spend alone, when you're contemplating things in your solitude, could begin to show you some deeper truths about you, your life, and the meaning and purpose of your life. So let yourself spend some alone time in the month of June to ponder these storylines. Venus is good. Mercury is news, but also lucky and also prosperous. The good, lucky, prosperous news energy is June the 12th. June the 12th, Venus is at 5 degrees. And then on June the 12th, Mercury's at 5 degrees. Or then they're both at 6 degrees. So it's June 11th, 12th. Some good news, good developments, lucky developments in your online social media, local neighborhood, world, maybe also connected to things you are putting into place because you're charming, likable, and self-confident. That's your Venus placement right now. So you can bring lucky opportunities to you through this exuding of the solid love of self into the outer world. And, you know, Jupiter and Mercury are commercial success energy in any kind of combination. It's also really good for writing, but at the same time, Mercury would want to maybe deal or negotiate something on your behalf with luck in the wings to do with neighbors, neighborhood, trips and travel, learning and teaching, writing and communicating, and the online sphere. Nice little bit of sweet sky flowing your way as a result of this story. And again, we're looking at this around June the 12th. While this good news story in the sextile is happening, you'll notice very briefly there is a fast moving moon on the 12th across the way. You might have a bit of tension with a female mother figure in your life just for a brief bit on June the 12th. But all said and done, the strength of this is way better than the weakness. Venus is trumping all of it. Now, on June the 12th to the 16th, we end up with a difficult square between Mars and Uranus that the whole world will probably have a collective gasp. But in your own life, Mars is up squaring Uranus, and he's doing that from your fourth house of home and property and land. And real estate. And Uranus is in the very tail end of your own sign. So if it's about your Taurus sun, it's unexpected breakthrough, or shocking surprises in your career story. It could be a breakthrough. It doesn't have to be bad, right? But if it is a career breakthrough, it could be connected to things to do with your home. Maybe you might have to change your home or move your home because of a breakthrough. Maybe you rent a new home as well because of Venus's involvement on the side hustle. What about if it's your rising sign? Anything in your life is going to have a breakthrough, break-free moment, including property, land, real estate, purchases, and sales. And if it is your moon, of course, it could also be a break-free, breakthrough through element to do with your Taurus moon, your Taurus home, your home and home life. But it's like unexpected, surprising jolt of some lightning strikes here, of some change. And you'll feel it to be true June 12th to the 16th. On June the 17th, and someone could move out of your home as well, because Mars is in the fourth house. You might want to kick someone to the curb, or you might move your home, or you might surprisingly and shockingly and suddenly sell your home. Now, one other thing to notice is that on June the 15th, we'll notice that Jupiter is squaring Neptune. Now, Jupiter is squaring Neptune for the rest of the whole month, but this is when it becomes more active. Jupiter is squaring Neptune. Jupiter is the truth. Neptune is the confusion about what is true. All said and done, truth telling, truth seeking, truth knowing, truth understanding, communicating the truth, marketing and selling and buying the truth, third house truth. It's really good for breaking free of an addiction, because maybe you've got a teacher, a teaching, or a course or a learning of some sort. Good things could happen through a sibling, one younger than you in your life as well, but helping to see what's true and dispel the illusion of some situation with a sibling. You may travel, but if you travel under this, June 15th to the rest of the month, you're traveling for spiritual reasons, for truth-seeking reasons, for gurus and teachers and ashrams and pilgrimages. Keep that in mind. I'm going off to see the ashram guru. Again, June 15th to the end of the month. On June the 19th to the 21st, Mars, the god of action, change, and decisions, flows to Jupiter. And Mars is going to help you make a change, because that's what he does, as he's already ingressed on the 17th of June into your fifth house. The fifth house is a creative house, an artistic expression, an entrepreneurial house of joy, fun, play, pleasure, romance, and children. Now, Mars here is in a good relationship to Jupiter, and that means good things and lucky things can happen for your children. If you're looking for romance, it looks like it's possible. You may meet somebody, but it may be through travel or learning environments. And that Mars transit will be in play for 6 weeks. So although it begins on June the 17th, add 6 weeks. This is good for romance, and it's especially good for romance, okay? Between new romance, June the 17th until July the 4th. So you may meet somebody new at that time, and it may be excellent and a very beautiful love story at that. And maybe because of teaching, learning, spiritual philosophy, traveling, these are ways that you could come into contact with this relationship. If you're already with somebody, it'll just spice up the romance and get the love life more, not only more sizzling hot romance, the sexuality, but also deepen the commitment on an existing relationship. Again, some of you have to travel to get this thing going, go see this person, they come to see you, but it could really deepen a romantic love story into more commitment. in surprising and exciting ways. And again, there's a peak window for this, and it is like June 17th to July 4th. Now, I would mention that on June 21st, well, I want to add one more thing about Mars here. Mars sextiling Jupiter is good for online social media stuff, creativity, and starting an entrepreneurial endeavor. Okay, especially online. And that's true and good June 19th to the 21st. Now on June the 21st, the sun will move out of Leo and into the solstice energies of Cancer, already hooking up with Jupiter, but both of them are squaring Saturn. There's a lot of stuff here that wants to like pop like a champagne bottle, but the cork is stuck because Saturn has got his way with the situation. And so there's an effervescence bubbling of joy and hope and optimism around learning and traveling and social media and siblings and uncles and aunts. And, it's all so good and gloriously good. And then there's this like dampening effect of Saturn saying, well, yes, but let's consider that addiction problem. Let's consider the long game. Let's consider your money story in its new structures and forms that benefit you because, if you make digital income. There's like a kind of Saturnian reality check on the effervescence of Jupiter exalted here and the sun joining Jupiter, but still is still sun Jupiter, and a spotlight will be there for 1 month in your third house. So if I was you, I'd be launching something, I'd be writing something, I'd be promoting something, I'd be starting something in the online world. It's not too bad for a brick and mortar business as well. And it's not too bad for creative and artistic projects, really getting some good form and structure and success. So plan for that story. It begins on June 21st, and the sun will be there for a whole month. And then the new moon at 4 degrees of Cancer starts to show us a few tricks up its sleeve. Well, I love this moon. I think it's one of the 2 best moons of the year. Let's get it back to your sign. And that is that the Cancer new moon. Okay, I'm going to see if I can get it to go ahead without losing the whole schmozzle. At 4 degrees of your third house with Mercury in presence, co-attendance. Well, it's helping you heal a chironic wound in your 12th house. It's definitely great for addictions being recovered because of learning environments. It's also really good support teachers, gurus, guides, learning. It's really good for you for travel. Mercury protects you, Jupiter's wisdom and truth. The moon is in her joy. And any travel you wish to do, short or long distance at this point, it doesn't matter because of Saturn's complicity. You can go to foreign lands, or you can travel your country. You can get on a caravan in your car. Road trip, says Mars. Well, all of that is super blessed. So travel suddenly opens up as a blessed thing coming off of a new moon on June the 25th. New moons show you their hand. They give you the goods. Within 2 weeks, you know what it's about. It unfolds over 6 months. This moon gets support from Mars. It's good for romantic love through teaching and learning connections. May be somebody in a classroom, an online course, a teaching environment, through your local neighbors and neighborhood, a neighborhood party, a neighborhood gathering, or even because you're traveling. And love and romance can blossom off of this for sure. So there could be a blossoming of some new love, especially with Venus in your first house at the time in the sign of Taurus. Especially true for ascendants in Taurus. If you're a sun, it's definitely great for your career direction. No 2 ways about it. A nice little glow up of success and profitability and gains in your career. But again, you might have to take some courses to amplify your success in your career, or some career opportunities require you to travel or become an expert marketer or to get going in the online world. Now, I'm losing my voice because I've been doing back-to-back videos, so please bear with me if I do a lot of weird throat clearing. Righty. Mercury is giving you happy surprises with Uranus on June the 26th. I have no complaints. It is a sextile, which brings good things to us, easy and fun and flowing, news and information and surprise. Now, because the surprise comes through Uranus in your sign, maybe you're doing something that shocks and surprises your siblings and some close cousins. You put something surprising or breakthrough oriented and good into the online communication sphere. But you can have a breakthrough, like a book publishing contract coming off of this, or some exciting sudden travel opportunity and news that you're going to have a chance to go on a trip. So that kind of excitement. It's very short lived, but it's very exciting. And it's on June the 26th. And then on June the 27th, Mercury leaves that sign and moves on to Leo. And that will allow for a whole new story that doesn't finish until September 2nd of 2025 because of retrogradation. Now, when Mercury's in the fourth house, a lot of times people are busy at home, marketing, selling, writing, or communicating, or doing some socializing in the home. So he's going to be going backwards in July. So people from your childhood can come back to you. And people from your family of origin are going to be very strongly in your life during those months in the summer. Mercury likes to negotiate and do contractual deals. And he's flowing to Saturn in the 12th house. This could be really good for some contractual deals to do with real estate and property that are worked on behind the scenes that benefit you greatly. And another way this could work out with Mercury here, moving into the fourth house for, a couple of months, is that you may be doing a lot of communicating, marketing, and selling in and from the home, or selling a home, selling a property, closing on it, putting it on the listings, marketing the property, those kinds of matters. Now, as this is going on, you'll notice that we'll see Mercury opposite Pluto, which is very intense between your public reputation and your home life. And there's nothing necessarily negative, but it's cathartic, regenerative, transformational, platonic energy, where it's almost like a death and rebirth of something to do with home, property, land, real estate, especially with the moon there, doubling down on it. Is there going to be the end or a selling or a completion of some property situation? Not everyone will have that. Of course, Venus rules rental property. Mercury's in the house of home. And this could easily look like a chance for a new rental opportunity as a tenant or a landlord. The offset of Saturn forming the wedge to Pluto, Mercury, Moon is really positive as well. That is still a new moon, new beginnings in your home. Saturn says distant shores. If you're going to change your home, whether it's a purchase, sale, or rental, some of you are going to move quite a far ways away from where you currently live. So if it's a far away neighborhood, fine, that's one thing, right? I used to live in this hood, now I'm in that hood. But some of you could even decide to move abroad or to move to the other side of your own country. So if relocations happen off of this ingress of Mercury and the moon into your fourth house, which is taking place at the end of the month, June 27th to the end of the month, it hooks up to stories in the chart that can be quite profound and transformative thanks to Pluto. And ultimately, any changes around the home will also lead to a transformation and change in the long game to how you pursue your career itself. Because ultimately, with Jupiter in your third house, your career gains are going to increase. The money you make from career is going to increase, but there may be a change of the actual career itself, not just the job. And for some of you, Tauruses, that's going to play out over the course of the next few months. And you're going to notice some impetus towards that soon. Finally, Mercury in the fourth house could indicate buying, selling things in your home and buying new things for your home, new possessions. He rules your second house of possessions. So you may be very busy buying and selling items in the home or buying items for the home. And that starts to be true around the 27th of June. And it continues actually all the way through to September because of Mercury's long stay in your fourth house. Oh my goodness, my throat is losing its talking power. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'd like to see some of you in Sky Reader. Be your own astrologer, time your best life. We'll see you then. Check out the description box for how to enroll, how to get on the wait list.